the association with Neeraj sir. This was around 6 to 8 months back when I went and met him, and his primary concern was the Marine Drive action sequence. So we earlier thought of shooting the entire action sequence on the ceiling, on the Worli ceiling pitch. But then that was already done in another film, and we had to again go back to the drawing board and start discussing. So that's when he spoke to me that how do we, where do we shoot this? And then we finally decided that there was the only iconic place in Mumbai was the Marine Drive. The biggest challenge in the Marine Drive sequence was that like I said, that we didn't have the permission, so we had to recreate a part of the Marine Drive bridge in Thar Gurjes outside Bombay. And this was all done against green screen, and we had to go back to Marine Drive, shoot a lot of clean plates, recreate the entire Marine Drive bridge and the road below. The cars were all CGI. A lot of CGI was involved in that. So that sequence was pretty complex because everything had to be rotated out in layers in order to do a decent composite. And then we actually got onto an immediate start, and we started discussing on a lot of other sequences, and that's how we got the film. As far as the blast is concerned, we were shooting this in an old mill in Bay Road, and we had some practical effects. We had a special effects guy on set, and we got a decent blast in camera, but obviously it had to be enhanced, and because there were only a few explosions which happened, so we had to actually double the explosion. So the explosion was doubled. Obviously we replicated that exactly in CGI. Apart from the blast, the post blast wherein Akshay Kumar falls down and then he looks at the blast, that was completely created because we couldn't go ahead and break anything inside the mill, and we couldn't take fire, smoke. Nothing was again allowed. So what we did was we just shot a clean plate of the camera just zooming into one of the walls inside the mill, and that wall had to be broken. We had to add smoke billowing out against fire, sparks. So also because it was such a big gaping hole inside that wall, we had to create a lot of matte paints and project that in 3D space because there was a camera move, so we needed a certain parallax. All of that was detailed, the model was quite detailed, and we projected a lot of matte paints onto the 3D model. And the entire effects was again done in Autodesk Max. All these sequences were actually shot in the places you mentioned, apart from Pakistan. That was not Pakistan, we shot it in Delhi. If we talk about the Nepal sequence, a lot of other shots were actually shot inside the film city. We created a partial set of Nepal against green screen, and whatever you see around, the mountains, the entire Nepal terrain, everything was digitally created, and everything was a matte paint. The Abu Dhabi sequence, which is the most talked about sequence, was shot inside Abu Dhabi, and we were actually shooting there in the desert. And this was a resort called Qasr Al Sarab, wherein we shot the entire sequence. And we shot a lot of plates while I was there. For the night plates of the resort, I actually went into the dunes and took a lot of stills of the resort, the way it looks in the night. And then we recreated that in CGI. We projected that, and we just replaced the entire environment. It was all done in passes. The characters were rotated out on a separate layer. The desert, the dunes were on a separate layer, and the resort was on a separate layer. And the sky was obviously completely on a separate layer. So all of this was kind of composited later on. The only complicated part was that we had to make it look like it was shot at night. So it was a day for night sequence. The weather conditions were extremely harsh. We were shooting for a week. We were shooting in 50 degrees, and this was in the middle of the day. That's a very weird thing. While the actors are performing, is they tend to squint their eyes because of the heat. And every shot I had to actually go ahead and tell the actors that they shouldn't be squinting the eye, because it just, once we convert that into night, it looks a little weird that why would somebody squint their eye in the middle of the night. So that was one very important thing. But even then, it was very difficult. I must say that that they did a fantastic job, but I really kind of gave them a hard time making them perform. I've been trying my level best to give that kind of confidence to filmmakers that that this can be done, and we try our level best to give them the kind of realism which is required, because a film like this, which is like so fast paced, we can't afford to have anything look fake in the middle of the film, because the edit is so fast. So it is quite a challenge as far as making it look real is concerned. So I always keep on pushing myself as far as the boundary for CGI is concerned, and I hope that there would be one day wherein most of the filmmakers would go ahead and adapt this technique.
The major challenge in terms was the time duration that we had for the project was very little. Like it was like almost 25 to 28 days that we had. And apart from the major sequences, like 4 major sequences, there was a lot of miscellaneous kind of a work which was targeted reel-wise for the deliveries. We had to come up with some kind of a plan of how we're going to target those 900 shots in coming 28 days. So the best way that we targeted was reel-wise, completing the shots reel-wise. Apart from the major sequences that are running backside of the floor, the major miscellaneous works were targeted reel-wise. So there was a lot of cleanup jobs involved into it, and a lot of touch-ups here and there, blood splats, extensions, matte paints, and lots and lots of stuff. So the major challenge for the team was to work for day and night. So I could calculate it as 25 days and 25 nights that we worked into. So total 50 days.
I think Neeraj sir is again. I mean, I keep on saying for all my filmmakers, but I just love them. I mean, the way Neeraj sir had given us the support, he's been fantastic. He was. He was almost like one of our team members, and he was like, whenever he was at the beck and call, we were actually WhatsApping each other for all the shot, approvals and stuff like that. It was really cool, that Viral, any time of the day, any time of the night, you need an approval, just WhatsApp it to me and I'll give you an approval. And that's how we functioned. I mean, we were completely in sync. He was very happy with whatever he saw. And obviously he very well understood, the time constraints, and he supported us, and he knew that, Viral, I know that this is a lot of work for you, and we'll work it out as a team, and great guy to work with.